Today I want to talk about a solution. People always talk about the problems and what's going on, but let's talk about a solution. We're going to talk about debt. We're going to talk about debt that you can't do anything about, but it's hurting you, and debt you can do things about, and then I'm going to give you a solution for that. 3 days a week. I call it the Dollar's Dead, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I go over ways to help you get out of debt. We talk about current interest rates. We talk about ways to save things other than dollars to grow your wealth. So get rid of debt and grow your wealth. Today, let's talk about, and we're going to look at 3 things, then I'm going to give you a solution. First is global debt. Take a look at this. $315 trillion, an amount I can't even imagine, estimated for global debt. It breaks up into business debt, $164 trillion. Business debt may not be so bad because theoretically, businesses are growing, they're hiring people, they're producing things. If resources are going to their most efficient use, we're all better off. So that 164 trillion may not be a terrible thing. Then we've got 91 trillion government debt. Well, that's not great. They're taking our taxes and they're still spending more than the taxes that they take. And then household debt at 60 trillion. Okay, that's the debt. You see here also 109 trillion in GDP. Well, that's not great because we're talking about 300 and some trillion in debt, but we're only producing a little over 100 trillion a year. Okay, now take a look at this next one. In the U.S., their federal debt, and I think a lot of countries are in debt, their federal debt in the U.S. is 35 trillion now. You might say, big deal, what does that mean? Well, it hurts you in many ways. I've done videos about that. Just take my word for it. It's not good. And I have to say, my disclaimer, which I forgot, is I'm a big dumb animal. This is for informational purposes only. Don't do what I do. The 35 trillion in 2010, just 14 years ago, it was 12 trillion. It has tripled in just 14 years. That is out of control. That means that they're taking your tax money, they're spending all of that, and then they're spending more than that. Now, this last one will show you that in individuals, credit card debt and these other loans, since 2010 it was 300 billion, now it's over $1 trillion. So in just 14 years, individuals' loans and debt, this doesn't count things like houses, but it's over $1 trillion. So recently I saw that personal loan rates, short term I think it was 3 or 5 years, over 20% on average. That's unbelievable. That's credit card territory of 23%. If you find yourself with massive debt, particularly if we're going into a recession, even if we're not, the amount of money being spent on interest is astronomical. So as I mentioned, I have many videos on all sorts of methods, but there's one particular method which takes into account any type of debt. So you can put in your credit card debt. Let's say you've got one card. Let's say you've got a car loan. Let's say you have a personal loan. And you put in the amounts that you owe, how much you pay a month, and the interest rate. That's it. It does a calculation for you. And without paying any more money, in other words, still making your minimum payments, it's called the Avalanche Method. And there's a link below to a video, 2 videos, one on how the Avalanche Method works, 2 on how to use our calculator, because it's very simple, it's free, it's on the website. We put it together specifically so people will be able to use this method. And it tells you that you're going to essentially start attacking the highest percentage rate first. And it just means you don't have to add any more money. We'll talk about that in a second. But once one's paid off, you move money to another loan, and you're moving it to the highest interest rate loan that you have left to pay. That helps you get rid of the interest faster. And over time, you will spend less money. You'll save time and you'll save money. Ideally, you'll be able to do something, spend less on going out, kill some kind of, turn off some sort of a service, like a streaming service, whatever it is, so that you can put extra money. And you might think, oh, I don't want to do without my whatever subscription for the next year or 2. That would just be terrible. Or I don't want to do without that. Well, put the number in the box because it says if you have additional money, how much? Click compute and it'll show you how much more interest, time, and money you will save. So time, it'll say, well, it might take you 40 months to pay all this off the way you're going by rolling it from one debt to the next, starting with the highest interest rate. But if you have an extra $100, look what it can do. It can knock off maybe a couple thousand, and instead of taking 3 years, 36 months, it's going to take 27 months, whatever it may be. And then you can change that amount in that box. That's why it's there. And it'll show you month by month exactly which debt you're sending the extra money to. And when one's paid off, it shows you which loan to then move that amount of money to as well. And this way you can see very quickly, very easily, how much of an impact. Sit down, if it's just you, sit down yourself, bring on your significant other, sit down, your partner, and say, look at what this can do. If we're willing to make some changes, we can get out of this debt. Because you want to be able to get out of debt as soon as possible with these ridiculous interest rates, particularly if we're going into bad economic times, and there's a chance that you or someone in the household will lose in income. So take a look at the links below. The Avalanche Calculator, the Avalanche videos, they will help tremendously to get you out of debt faster. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.